Makinig, manood, nasa teleradyo. Makinig, manood, nasa teleradyo. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo. Sa gitna ng mapanubok na panahon, magkahatid sa kakibat ay diskusyon. Sama-sama tayo, kahit magkalayo. Sa programang ito, tiyak ang pagkatuto. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo.
Good afternoon, physical science students. Welcome to our fifth week of broadcast for our physical science class at Teleradyo Marcelo, ang telearalan ng bawat malulenyo. This is Ma'am Graceful and I'll be your teacher broadcaster for today. But before we proceed, let me remind you to comment your name, your grading section on our chat box in order to acknowledge your presence as well as your answers to our activities for today's topic. For week 5 of quarter 3, we are going to learn about the rate of reaction, and that includes the collision theory and the factors affecting the rate of reaction. Let me present to you our objectives for today's lesson. Number 1. Explain collision theory. Number 2 is to describe the effects of concentration, temperature, particle size, and catalyst on the rate of reaction. Number 3 is to define, appreciate the importance, and explain the role of the factors affecting the rate of reaction in our daily life. Isn't that interesting? But first, let's try to recall some important concepts from our previous lesson by answering the following questions. What are the 3 parts of a nucleotide? What are the 3 parts of a nucleotide? The correct answer is a 5-carbon sugar, a phosphate group, and a nitrogenous base. For the second question, the sugar contained in RNA is known as, the correct answer is ribose. For the third question, what lipid molecule has a polar head and a nonpolar tail and is found in all biological membranes? What do you call the lipid molecule that has a polar head, a nonpolar tail, and is found in all biological membranes? The correct answer is phospholipid. For the fourth question, what do you call the repeating units of monomers that make up nucleic acid? What do you call the repeating units of monomers that make up nucleic acid? The correct answer is nucleotides. Down to our fifth question. True or false? Sucrose is a disaccharide. True or false? Sucrose is a disaccharide. The correct answer is true. Well done, everyone. Last week's lesson was about biological molecules, and this week, our topic will be about certain interaction between molecules, specifically the collision theory and reaction rates. However, before we proceed to our lesson proper, Kindly take a look at what's on your screen. These are different examples of chemical reactions. Chemical reactions actually occur everywhere, every day. These pictures lead us to formulate the following questions about chemical reaction. What makes chemical reaction occur? Do chemical reactions occur at the same rate? And number three, what factors affect the rate of chemical reaction? Well, there's no time better than now. How about we deal with these questions one by one? Are you ready? Let's do it. To understand how chemical reactions take place, we need to understand collision theory. Collision theory is the theory behind the chemical reaction. According to this theory, in order for the particles to react, they have to collide with each other with sufficient energy, which is called an activation energy. But what is an activation energy? Activation energy is the minimum energy required to start a reaction. If particles collide with less energy than this, then nothing will happen. They will just bounce apart and reaction will not take place. The theory also suggests that only particles that collide in correct geometric orientation will successfully form products. In other words, there are two requirements for chemical reaction to take place. One, the colliding particles must be energetic enough to collide successfully. And second, correct orientation or position upon collision is necessary in order to collide successfully. After having a clear understanding of how chemical reactions occur based on collision theory, we will now be dealing with reaction rate. But before that, let's try answering the following questions first. Which occurs faster, combustion of gasoline or decay of wood? The correct answer is combustion of gasoline. Another question. Which reaction is slow? Rusting of metal or formation of crude oil? The correct answer is formation of crude oil. Based on the question, we can say that chemical reaction occur at different rates or speed. And reaction rate refers to how fast or how slow a reaction is processed. It is also the speed by which reactants are converted to products. Therefore, a reaction that takes a long time to complete is described to have a low reaction rate, or simply a slow reaction. And a reaction that occurs quickly has a high reaction rate, or it has a fast reaction. While some reaction may occur instantaneously, others may take hours, days, or even years to progress to completion. However, note that the rate of reaction can be affected by several factors, such as concentration, particle size, temperature of reaction, and the presence or absence of catalysts. Now, let's see how each factor affects reaction rates. For concentration, if there is a higher concentration of one or more of the reactants, there is a greater chance for particles to collide. Think of it as something similar to raffles. The more entrants you have, the more chances of winning. Moving on, since more collision means faster reaction rate, increasing the concentration therefore increases the reaction rate. Now, in the case of particle size, particularly for reaction with a solid reactant, assuming we're dealing with similar object of equal mass, the smaller the size of the particles, the faster the rate of reaction. This is because the reaction occurs only at the surface of the object, and with smaller pieces, there is more surface area exposed and there is greater surface area in which the reaction will take place. This is why 1 kilogram of sodas burns much faster than a chunk of wood weighing the same kilogram. Now, for temperature, when reaction temperature goes up, the rate of reaction increases as well. Why? Because as the temperature increases, the average kinetic energy of the particle also increases. This in turn makes the particles move faster, thereby increasing the chances of more collisions. Also, the increase in the average kinetic energy means that there will be more collisions occurring with enough activation energy. As a proof of this, you may recall that food lasts longer when it's inside the ref. It is because the low temperature slows down the chemical processes involved in the spoilage of food. Lastly, we have the catalyst. Catalysts are substances that speeds up reaction. Recall that in last week's episode, some proteins function as enzyme regulators. These types of proteins act as catalysts to some chemical reactions happening in the body. Another thing about catalysts is that they don't belong to either the reactants nor the product because they themselves aren't consumed or produced in the process. Interesting, right? Now, recall that a few slides ago, we mentioned about activation energy. We define it as the minimum energy required to start a reaction. Now, catalysts work by allowing a reaction to take place with much less activation energy. This means that collisions that don't usually start a reaction due to lacking energy will be able to trigger the said reaction in the presence of catalysts. Isn't that amazing? Now let's see this catalyst in action. In a biological system, catalysts are called enzymes. Enzymes are substances in the body that speeds up chemical reaction. They are important for reasons that without them, some, if not most of the reactions would occur very slowly, that it will not be able to keep up with the body's demands. As an example, in a vertebrate red blood cell, carbon dioxide and water react to form carbonic acid. At a normal rate, this reaction produces an average of about 200 molecules of carbonic acid every hour. However, with the enzyme carbonic anhydrase, the reaction can speed up, producing 600,000 molecules of carbonic acid every second. The enzyme speeds up the reaction by more than 10 million times. Fascinating, right? All right, so that's all about the lesson for today. Now let's proceed to our activity. For this activity, I'll be giving you certain situations, and all you have to do is to determine whether each of the given situation will increase or decrease the rate of reaction. Simple, right? Ready, set, go. First situation. Lowering the alcohol's concentration in an experiment. What do you think? Will this increase or decrease the reaction rate? Let's see. The correct answer is decrease. Now, moving on to the next situation. What about if we are diluting a solution? Do you think it will increase or decrease the reaction rate? All right, let's check the answer. The correct answer is it will decrease. Now, for the third situation, burning a log instead of twigs. Will it increase or decrease the reaction? So the correct answer is it will decrease the reaction. Now, for the fourth situation, reducing the stove's flame when cooking. Will it increase or decrease the reaction? So the correct answer is decrease. For the fifth situation, increasing a reactant's concentration in a reaction. Will it increase or decrease the reaction? The correct answer is it will increase the reaction. Wasn't that easy? Good job, everyone. Now it's time for us to conduct an assessment. I will be presenting the questions as well as the choices, and then you can comment your answers. So let us start. Which of the following statement is true according to collision theory? Once more, which of the following statement is true according to collision theory? A. Collision of molecules is a precondition for any reaction to occur. B. All collisions result in the formation of the products. C. Only activated collisions results in the formation of the product. And letter D. Molecules which have acquired the energy of activation can collide effectively. All right. So let us see. The correct answer for this is letter B. All collisions results in the formation of the product. Now, second question. A rise in temperature increases the velocity of reaction. It is because it results in, once more, a rise in temperature increases the velocity of a reaction. It is because it results in, letter A, an increased number of molecular collisions. Letter B, an increased momentum of colliding molecules. Letter C, an increase in the activation energy. And letter D, a decrease in the activation energy. All right, let's see the correct answer. And that is letter A, an increased number of molecular collision. Now, let us have number 3. The minimum amount of energy needed for a reaction to take place is called blank. The minimum amount of energy needed for a reaction to take place is called blank. Letter A, potential energy. Letter B, kinetic energy. Letter C, activation energy. And letter D, thermal energy. All right, let's see. The correct answer is letter C, activation energy. Moving on to question number 4. Products will form faster if, again, products will form faster if, letter A, the particle size of the reactants are larger. Letter B, concentration of the reactants are increased. Letter C, temperature is decreased. Or letter D, the reaction is not stirred. So what's your answer? The correct answer here is letter B. Concentration of the reactants are increased. For the last question, the rate of a reaction increases as temperature blank. The rate of a reaction increases as temperature blank. A, decreases. B, stays the same. C, increases. And letter D, none of the above. So, the correct answer is letter C, increases. Did you get all the answers correctly? Well done, everyone. Thank you for your active participation in today's session. We hope that you will so join us in the next episode of Physical Science in Teleradio Marcelo. Also, don't forget to like and share our today's episode with your friends and classmates. Before I end, I would like to introduce to you the members of this episode's production team. Yours truly, I'm Ma'am Graceful Mira L. de la Cruz, your teacher broadcaster for today, our scriptwriter, Ma'am Emma Claudia F. Sabuana, and our technical director, Sir Hideo B. Kobayashi. And lastly, I would like to share this with you, a quotation coming from Chris Carr. If you don't think your anxiety, depression, sadness, and stress impact your physical health, think again. All these emotions trigger chemical reactions in your body, which can lead to inflammation and a weakened immune system. Learn how to cope, sweet friend. There will always be dark and bright days. And with that, have a great day, everyone, and thank you for watching today.
Makinig, manood, nasa teleradyo. Makinig, manood, nasa teleradyo. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo. Sa gitna ng mapanubok na panahon, magkahatid sa kaakibat ay diskusyon. Sama-sama tayo, kahit magkalayo. Sa programang ito, tiyak ang pagkatuto. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo, Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo, Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo.